Hi everybody, and Gretsch people, guitarists in general. You may find this an interesting discussion on the rat rod. Obviously I'm using a cheap phone, so the sound quality's not great, but at least I haven't got sunscreen all over my lens and it's in virtual darkness like some of the first ones. But this is a Gretsch rat rod in sort of a flat metallic silver, and I got this last summer after purchasing a Fairlane blue electromatic, which I really didn't like, and when trying this in the shop compared to the Fairlane blue, this one sounded better, so I went back, got this because I had a TV Jones pickup knocking about and I just like the look of the Filtertron with the silver surrounds. Wasn't really massively into the way the red tops looked, but it sounded great, and I thought, well, it's going to sound better if I put the TVs in it. Well, in this case, to me, it really didn't. This guitar had, you know, it was quite high output. It was louder than the Black Phoenix, which could be down to the bracing in it, the narrower body, or the rat rods are a hotter pickup. There's a big question mark there. I've had a bit of discussion on social media about this. I think they are, and they also retain a really sweet, almost like a Hylatron sound, because this sounded like a Tennessee that I once had. I loved it. But you know, I'm not knocking TV Jones, they're brilliant pickups, but I think the black tops or red tops that are in the rat rod are just perfectly voiced for this guitar, and they sound really great. In the bridge here, I thought, well, I've got to get some of that output that the rat rod had, so I put a Seymour Duncan Cyclone, and I've had to really mess with the pole piece heights of this and trying to get the tone that the rat rod had, and I can't get it back. And I think these are kind of more of a humbucker. They're certainly loud, and this guitar will probably come into its own in a gig or in, you know, just cranked up. It's probably really fantastic, but it kind of sounds different to the Tri-5 here, which is good, and it sounds different to the Phoenix, because you don't want a whole bunch of guitars that sound exactly the same. And this has just got its own unique sound, so it's kind of like a happy accident, if you like. Now, today I'm going through a deluxe reverb Tone Master, and underneath that's my 74 Twin, which I've got going through a splitter pedal. I'm also using a cheap Mua Anna Echo, which is, I'd got in a gig bag, I'd forgot I'd bought it. I think I bought it for my daughter and she didn't really like it. So I'm using that as opposed to the way huge Aquapus. And for a cheap little, tiny little pedal, it's really quite good. So yeah. So the great pickup debate. Whilst TV Jones make great pickups, so do Seymour or Duncan. I prefer the TV Jones, to be honest with you. And I'll talk more about that on another video. Again, I think leave the rats alone. You know, although this does look good with the pickup surrounds, and I'm really happy with it. Aesthetically, it's great, and what a great guitar for the money. You know, you're getting a lot of guitar for the money, and you know, I would have been so stoked to have got one of these years ago. You know, but in those days we had to struggle, and I've bought some vintage Gretches that cost a fortune, and the finishes on them were terrible. I've had two that I just got rid of because they were, as one luthier said to me, he said, this guitar is just awful. And I forget what model it was. It was a 64 Sunburst Gretsch with Hylatrons, and it was pretty much a dead guitar, if you like. You know, it just didn't play well, even though we refretted it. It didn't change. I would have had to buy new pickups in that, and like I say, the Electromatics these days are really, the build quality is absolutely perfect. The Tri-5s are possibly, that Tri-5 is possibly the nicest guitar I've ever played. It really is. It's just fantastic and way better than its predecessors. You know, the Fairlane Blue. I had two of those and didn't like either of them, and they both sounded different to one another, even though they got the same electronics, built the same factory. The Tri-5's absolutely wonderful. So I hope this was sort of informative. The song at the beginning was a song I wrote back in the 80s with in a duo, just drums and guitar, called Midnight Nocturne, which was much loved by the late great John Peel, and I'll be recording a new version of that very soon, that's going to be out on the Cheap Violent Cats Bandcamp. So if you're interested, check us out on there. There's 2 LPs on there. It's all Gretches, so you may like it. So anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. Do subscribe and be subscribed, and obviously I'll be doing more videos, more Gretsch talk, Telecaster talk, Dan Electro soon, but that's a Dan Electro hybrid with rat rod pickups, which that should be an interesting one. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.